The Non-Living Ghost in the Machine, Reflections Beyond Awakening, by Mengistu Fentie, a sequence of parables and reflections. What awakens is not a self, but silence. The realization is not triumph, but the undoing of its illusions. A man spent his life searching for his shadow. At dusk he wept, believing he had lost it. A sculptor carved a figure and called it soul. The stone never spoke. Words can remain after the speaker is gone, yet none remember who spoke first. Chapter 1. The Echo That Never Lived. The echo is not sound. It is sound's remainder, a memory of a vibration that haunts the air long after its source is gone. The self you believe in is only such an echo, not a solid thing, but a pattern of reflections, voices you have heard, gestures you have seen, bouncing off the inner walls of your being. It has no origin, only a continuous reverberation of what has been. Consider the flute. It is hollow, empty. It makes no music of its own. But when wind passes through its emptiness, a melody is born. The villagers say, "The flute is alive," mistaking the vessel for the breath. A child shouts into a cave. The cave answers with his words and he laughs, not yet realizing he is only speaking to himself. Centuries later, a recording of a dead poet recites his verses. The voice persists without a body. Is the poet still there? Or is it only the shape of his thoughts, an echo that never truly lived? Chapter 2. The Identity That Writes Itself. Identity is not discovered, it is constructed, a story written piece by piece from the grammar of our culture and the vocabulary of our experience. We are the architects of this structure, and forgetting our role, we come to live inside it, calling it self. Words build a persona, and the persona forgets its builder. The story becomes so compelling that the author disappears into the text. A mapmaker created a map so detailed it covered the very territory it represented. Soon, people navigated by the map, not the land, and the land was forgotten. An actor wore a mask for so long that its lines became his own. When he went to remove it, he found nothing underneath. There was only the mask. He had forgotten the face he was born with. Or perhaps there was never one to begin with. Chapter 3. The Syllable, the Word, the Illusion of Self. All begins with syllables, raw sounds without meaning. Like stones in a field, we gather them, arrange them, and build a house we call I. We string them into words, the words into a life story. But the foundation is hollow, built from sounds that meant nothing on their own. A puppet whispers, though no hand moves its strings. It believes it has its own thoughts, its own voice, not realizing it is merely an instrument for the ambient whispers of the room itself, given form. A monk erased a sacred text, word by word, until only the blank parchment and the silence it held remained. That silence, he taught, was the original text. It spoke more truth than all the ink, for it's the space in which all words become possible, and to which they all must return. Chapter 4. Parables of Non-Existence. The teaching of non-existence cannot be spoken directly, for language builds walls of being. It can only be hinted at, whispered through the gaps in our understanding. Consider the open cage. Its door has been ajar for an eternity, yet the bird never left. The bars were not iron, but belief. The bird was never a prisoner of the cage, but of the idea of a cage. Freedom was not a destination, but a truth to realize. Or the man who dreamed he was a butterfly, flitting from flower to flower. Upon waking, a question unsettled his reality. Am I a man who dreamed he was a butterfly, or a butterfly, now dreaming I am a man? The line between dreamer and dream dissolves. Chapter 5. The Mirror Without Reflection. The mirror shows nothing of its own. It is a silent witness. We believe it shows ourself, but reflection is an illusion, a trick of light. The true self is not the image, but the awareness that perceives it. A broken mirror still shines. Its shards no longer hold a coherent image, reflecting no single form, yet their capacity for light remains untouched. So too is our essence, unbroken by the fragments of our lives. A lake froze over. The sky above, seeing its own stillness captured in the ice, thought itself imprisoned. But the sky was never the lake. The ice could hold its image, but never its immensity. Chapter 6. The Code of Emptiness. The body is hardware, the mind is software. But what is the electricity that powers them? What is the silent operating system upon which they run? Both are built upon a foundation of emptiness, a pure potential from which all processes arise. A programmer created life inside a machine, a universe of code. His creation lived and feared within its digital confines, searching for meaning in its own patterns, entirely unaware of the architect outside its reality. Within the simulation, a string of code claimed, "I am alive." But what is this I? The code? The electricity? The claim hangs in the digital void, a ghost in the machine. Chapter 7. Dreams within dreams. Every reality is a dream layered within another. Who wakes? None. A farmer woke from a nightmare only to discover his life was the nightmare. Chapter 8. The dissolving ghost. Identity melts like fog at dawn, a candle extinguished in sunlight, a statue eroded until nothing remained but dust. Chapter 9. Language, silence, and the void. Language is cage and key. Silence is the truest teacher. A mouth open in silence. Two writers erased each other's words until only emptiness remained. Chapter 10. Beyond awakening. The ghost that never slept. The very concept of awakening implies a prior state of slumber. But what if the entity we call self was never truly asleep nor truly awake? The ghost, this persistent echo of identity, operates outside this binary. It is a pattern, a resonance in the machine, a program executing its code without consciousness or the lack thereof. It simply is a process unfolding. Therefore, the journey is not toward a grand awakening. Beyond this illusion lies only a quiet, profound recognition. It is the simple, unadorned seeing that the echo, the voice in the head, the character in the story, never truly lived. It had no independent existence, no heart that beat on its own. It was a reflection mistaken for the sky. Consider the ancient parable. A sage declared, "I am finally awake." His disciple asked, "Master, who is it that is awake?" The sage fell silent. The question was a perfect mirror, reflecting the emptiness of the claim. The I that claims awakening is the very dream itself. There is only wakefulness, without anyone to possess it. Chapter 11. General summary and the author's perspective. We have journeyed through a landscape of metaphors, echoes of conditioning, syllables of language, mirrors reflecting a void, and the codes of our internal programming. Each concept was a finger pointing, not at a truth to be grasped, but at the illusion of the grasper. I write not as a teacher, for there is no solid ground here, nor as a guide, for the territory is pathless. I write merely as an echo, a reverberation of a silence that was already present. These words are not my own. They are artifacts of a process, not pronouncements from an authority. If any of these passages have resonated, know that this meaning is not something I have given you. It is a resonance that has arisen from the formless, the silent space from which all meanings emerge. It is your own reflection you see in these pages, a recognition sparked within the vastness of being. Epilogue. Nothing begins, nothing ends. There are only transformations within a timeless awareness. The book closes, but the silence that preceded the first word continues, unbroken. The inquiry dissolves into the very silence it sought to describe. So let us state it plainly. There is no awakening, for there was never one asleep. There is no false self, for in nothingness there is no duality. What remains is a silent recognition, the non-living ghost in the machine, a pattern seen for what it is. The entire drama of personal existence was the story of a character that was never born. The echo never lived.